Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vior's live investment summit today, hosted by Six. Today, I'm joined by Mark Fedosowicz, Vior's CEO and president, as well as Laurent Eustache, the executive vice president of Vior. The team's going to walk us through their company presentation today, and after, we'll move to a live Q&A session where we'll be accepting and answering some questions. You can submit your questions using the Q&A panel found on the right-hand side of your screen at any time today. And as always, this summit is being recorded and will be available to watch afterwards on Six.com. So without further ado, Mark, I'm going to hand things over to you to get us kicked off.
Thank you, Cam, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Vior's Outlook 2022. So what I'm going to do today is run you through a quick update on Vior's corporate initiatives and aspects. Then Laurent will take you through the technical highlights, outlining some of our exploration program and objectives for 2022. I'm just going to move on here. So just before I start, I'd like to draw your attention to that the presentation will contain some forward-looking statements. Please take a moment to read this cautionary page with the disclaimers. So just to begin with, just an update on our corporate profile. Our mantra is value-based on strong fundamentals. Some of the highlights here are strategy, exploration on multiple high-potential projects. So it's clear that our flagship Beltare Gold Project is our focus for 2022, but it's important to add that we do have upside on 8 other very promising gold projects within our portfolio that Laurent will touch on a little bit later. Everyone's pretty aware that a discovery is the key driver for value creation in our industry, known for a very low rate of exploration success. So we've structured the company in such a way that we provide our shareholders and our stakeholders multiple opportunities. All of our projects are situated in safe jurisdictions in North America, either Quebec or Nevada, arguably 2 of the best jurisdictions in the world. Expertise, we've got a really highly committed management team, strong leadership and track record, management with over 100 plus years experience in the industry. And most importantly, I'd like to add that management owns over 16% equity position in the company. On a support basis, we have some really strong project partners, both on the financial and technical side. Osisko Mining, who recently invested in Vior this past March, owns a 9.9% partially diluted position in the company. FTQ, the Labor Fund in Quebec, CDEX, small money manager out of Montreal, SDBG, which is the Société de l'Abbé James, are all shareholders as well. We've also had some other great partners, Aluka, SOCAM, and Ridgeline Minerals. Our hybrid strategy provides added diversification, both for exploring and investing, which provides our investors increased exploration exposure and reduces our overall corporate risk profile. So we've revised the presentation a little bit. So what I'd like to share with you right now is Vior's corporate growth catalyst for 2022. Clearly our focus, and we've tried to convey this to our shareholders over the past many months, Beltare is probably the single greatest growth catalyst within the company. What we've done is consolidated a past producing high-grade mining camp, and we're using a systematic exploration process to systematically explore Beltare and hopefully create shareholder value. This proven exploration strategy is focused on value creation. I'd just like to draw your attention to a couple successes that we'd love to emulate ourselves on. Osisko Mining with Canadian Malartic, Detour Gold, the Detour Mine, Integra Gold, Lamaque Mine, and Great Bear, their Dixie project. So I'm just going to briefly go through the schematic here, starting from the bottom. So wealth creation milestones. So, we started this endeavor back late June 2020. We had a market capitalization of about $7 million. Once we consolidated the Beltare Gold Project last February, March, our market cap was situated at about $14 million. I think the market recognized what we had just accomplished. And most recently, we've had some good, pretty significant gold results at surface. And we've just concluded our first phase of a drill program, which Laurent will touch upon shortly. So our market cap is situated probably somewhere around 17 million. Arguably in a very difficult junior mining market the last 6 to 10 months. So, I think it's validation for what we've done. Some well-heeled investors recognize what we've put together and the potential in our portfolio. So in terms of milestones forthcoming in 2022, what we'd like to do is further identify some of the structural mineralized traps at Beltare, vectorize our drill targeting for the next campaign, which Laurent will go over with you, and further on down the road, hopefully identify a nice economic mineralization and build on ounces over time. And I think anybody who's followed other juniors will see that these milestones are critical in the value creation process. A little bit about Vior's corporate assets and diversification. Our exposure is to major exploration projects in North America. We've structured the company to reduce overall corporate risk and to expose everyone to multiple potential discoveries. We've got a disciplined capital and human resource allocation process, and this will allow for a strong focus on Beltare this year. Clearly, we do have many projects in our portfolio. They don't all have the same priority. It's important to note that our focus is on Beltare, both from a corporate and capital allocation point of view. We feel that this is the single best asset to help deliver shareholder value in 2022. So, some of the key milestones we've just completed, summer field exploration program for 2 months last summer. We've received recent surface results, which are excellent. We should have another release probably tomorrow with some additional results. High resolution mag compilation, which led to the 3D model. We just completed prior to Christmas the first almost 4,000 meter drill campaign over 5 holes that Laurent will go over in more detail. The diversification aspect at Vior also provides our shareholders with upside via our other Quebec projects. They're not all at the same stage of development, but we believe that we should be able to find some good strategic partners, create some value with other people's money within the portfolio. Also, we have our strategic investment in Ridgeline Minerals, quality projects and management. Vior owns about 6.5% equity interest, which is worth about $1.5 million right now. It's a separate asset within our balance sheet, but we think there's excellent upside here as well. A little bit about board of directors and management team. I think most of you on the call are probably aware of the board. I'm just going to go over it quickly. Myself and Laurent, I think you're already familiar with. The 3 independents are basically Eric Desaulniers, founder, CEO of Nouveau Monde Graphite, and his CFO, Charles-Olivier Taupe. They're the new generation of Quebec entrepreneurs. They have developed and created success for their shareholders the past 3 to 5 years. You can just look at their stock, NOU, which is testament to what they've accomplished. So they're really important voices on our board. And Claude Saint-Jacques, sort of the patriarch, founder of Vior. He's also the founder of Virginia Gold Mines and an excellent business sense. Technical and management team, Laurent and myself and our CFO, Ingrid Martin. And then our technical team is Christian Blanchet and Mathieu Gay, 2 senior geos, 20 plus years experience. Mark Ledoux, our former VP Exploration, is also a technical advisor. And Ken Williamson, a very well-known structural geologist out of Val-d'Or, runs his own consulting firm, 3D Geo, and he's been instrumental in helping us develop the 3D model. Just a brief update on the corporate structure. Working capital, that number as of September 30th, we haven't published our DC30 numbers. That number is probably sitting in the vicinity of about 1.6 million, if I were to guesstimate. In addition, we completed a flow-through financing of almost 1.5 million late October, and another flow-through financing just before Christmas, about $800,000. So that's in addition to the first working capital number. In addition, we have investments in public companies, largely Ridgeline Minerals, worth about 1.7 million. Shares outstanding have increased a little bit as a result of the flow-through financings, sitting at about 81.2 million. Major shareholders, as I mentioned earlier, Osisko Mining is at 6.7% undiluted. Management sits a little over 16%. Quebec institutions, a little over 16%. And close strategic holders, which would comprise about 15 high net worth individuals who are very close to the company, approximately 30%. Market capitalization recently about 17 million at 21 cents. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Laurent, who will get into the technical aspects and what we have in store exploration-wise at Beltare and elsewhere in 2022.
Thanks, Mark. Sure, and welcome everyone. As part from Beltare, on which I will get back in a minute, Vior owns 4 other gold projects in the Abitibi. The Ligneris one located in the Latin Volcanic Corridor, where Amex is successfully delineating high-grade gold, as well as Mosso and Skyfall located in the Urban-Barry Corridor. Vior has been active the past 12 to 18 months consolidating prospective position in the area, as Osisko and Bonterra are delineating world-class high-grade gold deposits. So we expect demand going up on these projects and properties as the camp move toward development and production. As Mark alluded to later on, Belterre is our flagship project located in the heart of the Quebec's mining industry. We have really great access and infrastructures. That's a proven mining belt with the former past producing high-grade Belleterre Gold Mine, produced over 750,000 ounces of gold at about 10.7 grams per ton, on which we had the option to acquire. So it's a proven mining area. The size is, that's what we saw as well, the opportunity to consolidate ground around that past producing mine. District scale project with up to 37 kilometers of probable geology and comprise about 551 claims, covering a surface of 300 square kilometers. So Vior has consolidated this project looking at executing on a similar approach of what Osisko and some other groups successfully did in the past, which is finding a new mine in an old high-grade camp by taking advantage of modern techniques and project scale. So the opportunity that we saw was the high-grade potential, the potential as well for multi-deposit area. It's never been consolidated, so we're the first mover on that particular area and rethink and we work the geology. Shallow drilling in the past, not much below 250 to 300 meters depths, and never been explored with modern techniques, new high definition geophysics, as well as drilling below 300 meters. So since consolidation, we have put in place a systematic approach, compilation of data from all reports and plans, as well as 3D modeling, helping on the global interpretation of the camp with the help of Ken Williamson, a well-regarded structural geologist modeler. But we've also been pretty active on the field in 2021 with completion of a high-resolution mark survey on the whole property, 2 months of prospection, as well as recently completion of a 4,000 meters drilling program, located mainly only on the historic mine trend. So since then, we've been able to validate and extend gold showings, recognizing various types of mineralizations, as well as advancing in a comprehensive structural interpretation of the camp. So here are some examples of high grade that we've been able to validate on the field with up to 274.9 gram per ton and 121.3 gram per ton in quartz veins. We've got lots of high grade in various places of the brownfield area of the project, as well as some high grade as well QFP, intrusive rocks, with up to 50 gram per ton. So here is the map of the brownfield area of the project. As you can see, it's the scale of that brownfield is huge. That's about 12 kilometers extension from bottom left to upright corner of the corners of that map, on which Vior control the brownfield. So the 2021 was concentrated on the northeast, as you can see on the map, where we have identified this and discriminated prospective exploration targets highlighted on the red bubbles that you see on the map. And at the end of the summer last year, we've completed the agreement with Osisko Mining, which represent roughly the other half of the historic Beltare camp to the southwest. And that's where we will concentrate mainly our effort for the summer 2022. And finally, we recently completed the first drilling campaign of about 4,000 meters on 5 holes, only on the historic mine trend. And for various reasons, we decided to extend the depths of most of the drill holes that we did. And as we did not completed the whole program planned initially, we will take it back from where we left it as soon as we mobilize another drill rig. So results from the 5 holes are expected end of Q1 2022. All the core has been logged, and sampling is completed or should be completed shortly. As we already explained in our past summit, that initial campaign has been done to better understand the structural framework of the historic mine trend. And we've got holes from east to west of that specific trend, as you can see on the long view of the trend. So we've been able to recognize the geology, various type of lithologies and structures on which we will get result in the coming months that will help to vectorize for the next phases of exploration. So on that, I will pass on the mic to Mark to wrap up the presentation.
Just to summarize the Vior opportunity, Vior is on a really solid foundation here. We've got a low-cost corporate structure, very large inside share ownership, exposure to 9 promising precious metals projects, all in safe jurisdictions. Well, Osisko Mining's investment in Vior last March is an endorsement and validation of our project's potential, and not just Beltare, several of our other projects in Quebec as well, and also in terms of execution on a corporate strategy. There'll be continuous news flow throughout 2022. Beltare is developing rapidly, as you could see. We've had some excellent surface results from our summer field exploration program and fall exploration program. Should be more to be announced in the coming day or two. We've just completed the 4,000 meters of drilling prior to Christmas. Unfortunately, the labs are very backed up here right now. I can't give you a real accurate time frame in terms of when results should be here, but we're hoping by the end of Q1, possibly sooner with a few rush samples. In addition, we've made the corporate decision to begin a 5,000 meter additional phase 2 drill campaign beginning in Q1 as soon as we can mobilize a drill rig. We have no shortage of drill targets. At the moment, we're just trying to prioritize what this 5,000-meter campaign is going to look like. Our other projects, Skyfall, Ligneris, they're all intermediate to greenfield stage gold projects, all with excellent blue sky potential. And our Ridgeline investment, which we haven't spoken much about today, but they have excellent exploration potential in their 4 gold and silver projects in Nevada. So perhaps we'll open it up to the Q&A right now.
Absolutely. Thank you for the presentation, gentlemen. As you mentioned there, Mark, we'll be entering Q&A session as we speak. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A tab found on the right-hand side of your screen. But to begin with, we have a question. Is Osisko Mining just a passive investor, or are they actively assisting? What price do they pay for your shares?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that. In terms of passive, they're somewhat active in the sense that we do have a technical team set up with their technical team on 2 of our projects, not Beltare, however. The 2 projects in question are Ligneris and Skyfall. It's going very well. In fact, we're working out an exploration program on Ligneris as we speak with their technical team. They bought in at 20 cents a unit last March. I would expect that if we do another hard round financing of any sort, I would expect them to maintain their equity interest.
Okay, great. Thank you. A question from Eric in the audience. What are the holding costs for the project portfolio?
Laurent, you want to answer that?
That's a good question. Let's say, we have lots of credit on almost all our project. We still have to do some work on part of our district scale gold project. Skyfall, Ligneris is pretty well covered. We're it's not that expensive, and Beltare, we've been really active, so I have no worries about that one as well. So it's going pretty well.
I would add that in 2022, the holding costs are going to be minimal. I would say, I would guess, if you're talking claim renewals, that's one thing, but in terms of work commitments on the various claims, it's minimal in 2022.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Paul in the audience wants to know if you've had any assays come back yet.
Yeah, we like Mark and I alluded to, and by the way, sorry for the bad connection. It's not under my control, but I hope you hear me well. So what was the question again? Cam,
just if any assays have come back yet.
Yes, we've got some assays, and Mark and I we will release some news in the coming days on the prospection, the summer prospection and fall prospection in the coming days.
But in terms of the assays on the drill campaign, what we've received is absolute minimal. It represents, probably a couple % of what was shipped.
Yeah, we're absolutely not ready. We're still ending of sampling the holes, so it's So I think we will be able to get results in maybe 2 months, something like that.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Another question: if things go well at Beltare, would you consider optioning Skyfall? It's a very large land package there. What's the bandwidth and focus challenge there?
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer that. Clearly, we're limited in terms of our capital resources and human resources. And it's getting more and more difficult out there. We're very fortunate to have a good, solid team right now, all with experience and, a very decent treasury. There's no question that if we have success at Beltare, that Skyfall will become less of a priority in the short term. Not that it doesn't have excellent upside potential, but it's quite a bit more greenfield in terms of its life cycle. And certainly, if a bull market was in the order, that we'd have no difficulty with the right partner and the right arrangement, joint venture or option agreement to allow another partner to help advance it.
Right. Okay. A question from Chris: how much cash do you have right now, and what's the burn rate look like?
Yeah, so cash position, we haven't released our Dec 31st numbers. I'm going to give you a guesstimate here, approximately. So don't hold me to it. Our cash position is probably situated about 3.5 million, I would guess, in that area, because we had to pay for the fall drill campaign. But we're in a very healthy position. Certainly for the next campaign, the next 5,000 meters, and we'll evaluate things on a month-by-month basis after that. And that excludes our investment in Ridgeline Minerals. So, if you really took our true working capital, it would be in excess of $5 million right now.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Just to follow up on burn rate, our burn rate is probably situated in the $50,000 to $60,000 a month ballpark. If you include the marketing we've been doing recently, probably closer to the 60,000 area, 55, 60,000.
Great, thank you for that. At Beltare, you have such a large and highly prospective land package to explore. What are your priorities over the next few years, and what's the process of determining those priorities?
Yeah, I'm going to take that one, and hopefully everyone will hear me well. It seems that I have some trouble with my connection. Basically, there's the brownfield area where we have more advanced geological information, where we are able to execute and have some high potential drill targets, where we will be more active there, and as well as, and at the same time we will advance more grassroots area. Up north and down south, where we did some till sampling. We're still waiting for this result, and where we will try to focus where the most interesting area are, and we still have to delineate these areas. So basically, we have some advanced area where we are already ready to drill, and some more remote exploration where we will advance. And as we find some good eventually showings and good reasons to move a drill there, we will do it. So that's the usual one, the usual strategy for this type of projects, where you have a core, more advanced area where you can build some and create some value faster, and advance the other area as time and results advance.
Great, thank you for that. Paul in the audience wants to know, are any asset sales likely to avoid further dilution?
Yeah, I'll take that one. We're open to a number of optionalities with respect to keeping dilution to a minimum. An asset sale or a good option or JV agreement that would bring in some cash would certainly be welcome with the right partner. So all options are on the table. I would add that Beltare is a beast that deserves a good amount of drilling. Corporately, we're looking at a number of options right now in terms of how do we really attack Beltare with a large amount of meters in drilling in 2020. So, stay tuned on that side.
Well, thank you for that. And what can you expect this year out of Beltare?
Mark?
Well, listen, with respect to Beltare, we're doing all the right things. We have no shortage of drill targets. Certainly, we'd like to show the market that there is mineralization. There are structures either at depth or laterally in the mine trend. We are also going to step out to Osisko Mining's project that we have joint ventured with them. Probably stay tuned for some updates on surface results there in the coming days. We have our eye on a number of targets there. We'd like to drill a good amount of meters. I mean, as everybody knows, this is a process. It's not necessarily the first 3,000 or 5,000 meters that makes you that significant discovery that we're all looking for. But it will tell us a lot in terms of vectorizing on new targets in the second phase or the third phase. But we have every intention at Beltare of continuing to drill throughout 2022. We'll secure the funds for a much larger campaign at some point. We're pretty optimistic, though, on these first couple phases of drill programs that we will have some degree of success.
I'd say as well, there's lots of time investment from the technical team to dig into these data. Going on the field, we start to get the results, and we start to really better understand all the various areas, which are not all the same. We see some. The timing of all the mineralization may not be the same. We see some association with various type of lithologies as well, with various type of alteration. All these things take time for the geologists to better understand and vectorize. So I think we will start to see these. That investment that we did for just a year. We've started to consolidate that, announcing the first acquisition early next year, last year. So it's I think we will start to see these results coming up and increase the level of targeting, which will provide eventually exciting news for our shareholders.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Listen, gentlemen, I think that's the time we have for today. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank both you, Mark and Laurent, for coming on today, as well as everyone in the attendance for joining us. If you didn't get a chance to ask your question, or if you think of one after the summit, you can find Vior's company presentation in the handouts, and you can, of course, always find out more information on their website at vior.ca. But with that, Mark, I'm going to hand things over to you to wrap things up for us.
Thanks, Cam, and thanks, Laurent. So just in conclusion, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. The Vior team really looks forward to delivering some solid growth, delivering on some milestones where the portfolio creates some value for everyone in 2022. I think we've got a fabulous project on our hands. The team is working hard, both technically and corporately, to advance all aspects of it. Stay tuned for some additional, I think promising news and perhaps how we attack the project a little more aggressively at some point in the year. But all indications are we've got no shortage of really excellent drill targets. We know there's mineralization at surface. We know there are still ounces at Beltare as well. They're obviously non-43-101 compliant at the moment. It's not our focus to prove those ounces up right now. At some point we'll address that, but we're looking at the bigger prize where perhaps we see a really good system at depth or laterally. So stay tuned for a lot of news flow beginning shortly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, gentlemen. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.